Today's Terrific Talk podcast is brought to you by Simple Contacts. Simple Contacts is this awesome new app that lets you renew your prescription and reorder your brand of lenses from anywhere in minutes through an online vision test. It's designed by doctors, and every test is reviewed by a doctor, so they're literally bringing the doctor's office to your home. The contact lens prices are unbeatable. The vision test is only $20 and shipping is free. And best of all, my listeners get $30 off their first Simple Contacts order with the promo code TerrificTom. I had a friend of mine try this and they've been raving. It was super easy. Go try it for yourself. Save $30 on your lenses by going to simplecontacts.com/TerrificTom or entering the promo code TerrificTom at checkout. Again, that's simplecontacts.com/TerrificTom or just enter the promo code TerrificTom at checkout. And Terrific Talk is brought to you by 4Hims, a new wellness brand for men. Did you know that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? I believe that. I'm not doubting that one. I started losing it early. It's tough. But guys, you can stop this. Do you want your hairline to recede, or do you want to do something about it first? 4Hims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. There's no waiting room, no awkward doctor visits. You save hours by going to 4Hims.com. You answer a few quick questions, the doctor will review and prescribe you, and products are shipped directly to your door. And order now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today right now while supplies last. This would cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. Go to 4Hims.com/terrific. That's FORHIMS.com/terrific. All right, hey guys, thanks for checking out the Terrific Talk podcast. Thanks for listening on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is like my favorite time of the year for sports. You've got the NCAA tournament underway. You've got the Masters coming. Tiger Woods is back. That's going to be a must-watch. Baseball is starting. The NBA playoffs are coming. Hockey playoffs are coming. Everything's getting going. NFL free agency, the NFL draft. This is an awesome time to be a sports fan, and an awesome time to check in with your favorite sports broadcasters, reporters, writers. And today I've got a fantastic guest, Bill Reiter of CBS Sports, who is a big part of the brand new CBS Sports HQ. We get into a whole lot here. Let's get into it. Let's start the music in 3, 2, 1.
Sound goes crazy.
Terrific Talk Podcast. Welcome back, Terrific Talk Podcast.
Here comes the host.
I'm your host, Tom Anderson.
First, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Knicks win it. Back.
Beautiful day here from the Hoboken Studios in New Jersey. I've got a great guest today. Bill Reiter is the host of Reiter on You on CBS Sports Radio, as well as the host of Writer's Block on the brand new CBS Sports HQ, which is CBS's new 24/7 streaming sports network. It's great to have him on today. Let me bring him in here. Bill Reiter, welcome to Terrific Talk.
Thank you. Yeah, all those puns, right? So many pun-named shows. It's good to be here.
You've got a great last name for that. Anderson, I don't know what I would do. Reiter is perfect.
I know. Anderson's hard. I mean, yeah, you'd have to do alliteration.
Yeah, exactly. I also have the most common name of all time, so it hurts. Talk to me a little bit about your new 24/7 streaming network that you're working on. What's it all about? What are your goals for the show?
Yeah, it's exciting. So 2 years ago, a gentleman named Anthony Mormile, who actually passed away a year ago, when I was working at Fox Sports 1 doing quote-unquote real TV, and things were going well there and doing a radio show in Los Angeles, called me and said, come down to Florida and talk to me. And I remember telling my wife that there's no chance I'm going back to websites, right? Sort of the career arc is to move away from those and toward quote-unquote real TV. And Anthony laid out a vision that CBS had, that the future was streaming, that Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all the things that were peaking then and are obviously dominating now, that sports was not immune from that model, and that people were going to stop. We're going to start cutting the cord, and these younger folks never quarters. And this network is the manifestation of his vision, the vision of some very smart people at CBS, that there is a marketplace for a free 24-hour sports network that is very news-centric, that is very involved in data, that talks to sports fans like they're intelligent and they love sports, like you don't need people shouting and screaming at you all the time. And my role in that, hopefully, is to do a really smart show that is very sports-centric. My background is as a newspaper reporter. I was a political reporter and sort of feature writer before I even got into sports. And that we can bring that level of attention to detail and facts and data and hopefully do something that people are really interested in.
Doing streaming, are you doing the show in any different way than you would do normal TV or radio?
We've sort of fooled with that. So for the last maybe 12 months, we've done the show. I don't think anyone's watched it, but we did. It was on Apple TV, other than my parents, and we sort of played with it. And the answer to that question is beautiful New York with sirens in the background. Yeah. Not too much. I mean, we try to be very conscious of we have a millennial kind of viewer. I almost said listener. Millennial kind of viewer. And not shorter attention spans, but people are smart. And they don't want, if it's not interesting, they're not interested in watching it. So we try to be very focused to do 2 to 4 minute segments. The opening part of the show is often a 10-minute segment, but it's very in-depth. We'll take, say, the Rockets 17-game or 20-game or 15-game winning streak, wherever it's at, and really dive into what it means, historically what it means, and what the data suggests. But for the most part, like aside from those things, we just, at least early on, hope that if we do a really good show and it's smart, hopefully it's kind of funny, hopefully it's kind of interesting, that people will stick with us.
Was broadcasting something you wanted to do at an early age? When did you realize you wanted to get into this as a career?
No, I don't even know how this career happened. So I always wanted to be a writer. I have 2 novels I've written. One is an adult. It's terrible. One is a child. Marginally better because at least it's sort of endearing that I gave it the attempt and got into newspaper writing. And you know, I went to high school at a Catholic school in Dubuque, Iowa. They had a student newspaper. It was a perfect fit. I went to the University of Missouri's journalism school because I wanted to be a newspaper writer, and that was my career for a very long time, and I transitioned late in my career, in my 30s, into sports writing, I should say full-time sports writing, because I'd done some. And, you know, after succeeding at that and having some success at that, I got a call from FoxSports.com to go cover LeBron James and the Miami Heat, LeBron's first year in Miami. They wanted a reporter's eye on that story and sort of embedded with that team. And I did that, and I started getting calls about radio hits. I'd never done a radio hit. I started saying yes, and slowly but surely got very comfortable on radio. And Jim Rome put me on his television show that was on CBS Sports Network maybe 2 years after that. And Tom, it's a longer story, but the way that it sort of, I wake up in the morning sometimes, where you don't know where you are. I forget that I'm on television and radio. I'm still sort of a newspaper guy in my mind's eye, but I got a weekend radio show from Fox Sports Radio, and that went really well. And then Fox Sports 1 launched, and they'd seen me on television doing Jim Rome as a guest, and they gave me a tryout, and they moved me to L.A. to my great amusement. My wife and I thought we'd go to L.A., and I would inevitably fail very quickly because I do, in fact, have a face for radio and a voice for print. But I don't know. Somehow I'm still employed, which is very nice.
You mentioned Jim Rome. I read that you were a big fan of Jim Rome, big fan of Colin Cowherd, trying to emulate their styles. What about them stood out to you?
Yeah, both those guys. So, and both those guys in different ways have been great to my career. Jim Rome, who I know, not socially, professionally, but I know him to say hello, is as important a reason I've been successful as anyone. He put me on his radio and his TV show at critical moments and gave me great advice. Jim, I think, is the most successful radio host in the history of sports talk radio. And his work ethic and the guy grinds at it, and his ability to be who he is, like that authenticity. I think Jim is, who he is. That was sort of the takeaway for me. And obviously just being put on his radio show and getting heard by bosses, being put on his TV show, which led to my opportunity at Fox Sports. That's a connection and it's a level of gratitude I can't ever really express properly repay to the guy. And Jim knows me, but not, he knows me like he knows 1,000 other careers he's helped launch or support. Colin's a guy, it's so interesting because I always, not that I'm any kind of intellectual, I'm not, but I do come from a background that's not sports, right? I wasn't a sports writer, and that was one of the advantages I think I had in sports writing when I was a newspaper writer, is I sort of picked up this world of sports, and I think I saw it from a little bit different angle. My background was politics and features, and it covered Bill Clinton from the Arkansas angle after his presidency, building his library, that sort of thing. And Colin's sort of a view on the world and he certainly is an intellectual, I think, and he's very smart, and he's very funny, and he's very interesting. And I always admired that no, not everybody loves Colin. I think his show's great, but I think he's smart, and it's a reminder there's a space to think about sports in an interesting way. And then I had the small world. Where I lived in L.A., he moved to, and Fox hired him, and he lived very close to me, and so he would take me out for coffee occasionally. He was my lead-in on the radio when I was in L.A., and not at the same level as Jim Rome, but Colin gave me some incredible advice. The guy's amazing. He'd take you for coffee for 20 minutes, give you 7 radio segments, and they'd all be gold, and then he would leave. It was just that guy's a genius. But both of those guys in their own way, both in their example and how gracious they happen to be to me, shaped my perception of the job, and in Colin's case, and Jim's, quite literally, some very specific things that I still do today.
What do you think the best advice Colin Cowherd gave you was?
The best advice Colin Cowherd gave me was to never lose who you actually are. And he's like, you're a writer, and you should write, and if you don't write, which I don't anymore because I don't have time, not really, you should continue to practice the habits that made you a writer. That's how you see the world, that's how you interact with the world. So I still make phone calls to sources on a pretty regular basis and text messages that I probably, frankly, wouldn't have done if Colin hadn't given me that advice. Reaching out to people that when I was a columnist, I would call sources all the time in a variety of sports, mostly the NBA and the NFL, but college sports too. And sort of my agreement, I'm not Adrian Wojnarowski, to say the least. I'm not Adam Schefter. It was more, tell me what's really going on. I'll never quote you, but I want to write with some authority, and I want to know what's happening. I don't want to be a blowhard columnist. I want to be a columnist who just sounds like a blowhard, but is actually really well informed. People can think what they want, but I want to be based on reporting, even if no one knows it. And I've tried to apply that really aggressively to my radio and TV, and I think it's added not just some authenticity to the show, but I get things right more often than most people, frankly, in my position, not because I'm smarter than most people, I'm not, but because I do the reporting, and I've got people telling me behind the scenes what they think the right perspective is on whatever given issue of the day where I'm diving in on.
You've moved around a bunch, as you kind of mentioned. I know you're from Iowa. You went to school in Missouri. You worked out in L.A., now New York. How has that been, living in all these different places and picking up and moving all the time?
Interesting. And my mom and dad moved around a lot, too. As a kid, I moved all the time. And, I just moved my daughter and my son, not for the first time, but for the first time that they understood, right? So, it was hard. And so
yeah.
I could remember that. I went to 2 high schools. My brother went to 3. We moved a lot. It made me very independent. It made me capable of being very social, right? You have to be the forward social person in those situations.
Right.
And professionally, I think it's given me a huge advantage in that, and not to criticize people who stay where they are, whether it's New York or Dubuque, Iowa, or Cincinnati, Ohio, but you can have, I think, there can be this sort of myopic worldview because you only know what you know. Going outside of my comfort zone, living around the country, especially in the radio sense, I think it makes it a lot easier for me to not pander to my audience, but to understand when someone calls from Arkansas, where I've lived, or Portland, where I've vacationed, or the West Coast, where I've lived, or Chicago, where I've lived, right? Or Florida, where I've lived, to understand sort of who that person is, and I would hope have a perspective on the things I talk about that's rooted in a lot of different experiences around the country.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage you have. Outside of sports, what are some of your interest hobbies? What music do you like? What TV shows are you watching?
Yeah, terrible music taste, or eclectic. My ultimate combination is I want Kanye and Bob Seger to do an album together. I do. I'm serious. Yeezy and Against the Wind, right? Together.
Perfect.
My music tastes are pretty varied. They run. I was just listening to Ryan Adams' remake of Taylor Swift's 1989 album, literally when you called me.
Nice. And
sort of doing some work. I love to read, and I'm trying to get back into that now that I live in New York City. I'm trying to read on the train. So I'm into David Mitchell, wrote Cloud Atlas, and trying to pour through his books. And I'm TV, there's too much. Homeland, I've caught up on. Watching Jessica Jones this weekend, if my kids let me, because I work too many hours, I don't see them enough. I'm one of those typical The Wire fans. I came late to Game of Thrones because I read the books, but then obviously the show caught up to the books and passed it. So now I'm fully involved in Westeros. I watch a lot of, and I shouldn't, but I actually watch a lot of TV. I used to not, and for me, it's sort of an escapism from the job.
Quick break to talk about Simple Contacts. Guys, I hate going to the eye doctor. Like, it's one of the things I dread most. I think I dread it most than going to any other doctor. It's always the worst. It's a pain. That's why I gotta tell you about Simple Contacts. It's a great new app that makes this awful process super, super simple. Now, this isn't a replacement for your periodic full eye health exam, but Simple Contacts lets you renew your prescription and reorder your brand of lenses from anywhere in minutes. My dad wears contacts. I told him all about Simple Contacts, and he loved it. So much easier than having to go to the eye doctor to get that taken care of. Because Simple Contacts brings the doctor's office to your home. The vision test is designed by doctors. Every test carefully reviewed by a doctor. And they offer every brand of lenses, and the prices are unbeatable. The prescription is just $20, shipping is free, and best of all, my listeners get $30 off their first Simple Contacts order. All right, to save $30 on your lenses, go to simplecontacts.com/terrifictom or enter the promo code terrifictom at checkout. Again, that's simplecontacts.com/terrifictom, or just enter the code terrifictom at checkout. Give it a try. And for the guys who are listening to this podcast today, I want to tell you about Hims, a new wellness brand for men. Guys, a lot of us are not blessed with that George Clooney hair. We're going bald, and it's tough. The summer's coming. You don't want to get sunburned up there. It's no fun. What if I told you there was a solution to all this? And thanks to science and what they figured out now, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical grade solutions to treat hair loss. And it's crazy easy, okay? There's no waiting room. There's no awkward doctor visits. You save hours by going to forhims.com. It's online. Answer a few questions that the doctor will review and prescribe you, and products will be shipped directly to your door. And order now. My listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. Okay, see the website for full details. Think about how much it costs to go to the doctor. This is just $5 today. You get a whole trial month of Hims. Go to forhims.com/terrific. Okay, remember that, terrific. That's forhims.com/terrific. forhims.com/terrific. Now back to CBS Sports' Bill Reiter. 3 rapid NBA questions here before I let you go. Who brings home the MVP this season?
It will be James Harden. I don't think that it should be. I think, and I voted for that award several times before. We'll see if I get a vote this year. I did not next year. I think, frankly, my colleagues made a mistake in voting Westbrook last year. And I don't know if Harden's a mistake. I don't think it's the slam dunk that people think that it is, but I do think he will get the award.
Who do you think it should be?
Well, I think there was a case for Anthony Davis. He got hurt. We'll see how that shakes out. LeBron James claims he's having the best stretch of his career. In fact, I think his best year might have been last year, but he's pretty close this year. I think he should be in consideration. I think Harden's numbers are amazing, but Mike D'Antoni, the head coach there in Houston, his system inflates excellence. Linsanity, Steve Nash winning 2 MVPs, he should not have. I think it's a much closer race. Joel Embiid, depending on where the Sixers finish when he's healthy, they're a top 3 team in the East and the best defense in the NBA. When he's not healthy, they're another. When he's not on the floor or not playing, they're another disaster. I think, Damian Lillard, if that Portland team maintains its grip on that third spot, I think there's other names that should be in consideration that are not.
Who wins the NBA title this year?
The Golden State Warriors. Even if Steph, twisted his ankle last week, and we'll see if he's fine or not, but it doesn't matter. The Golden State Warriors will win the NBA title this season.
I saw you had Victor Oladipo on your show yesterday. What did you learn about Victor?
In the research, as you did about me, I did about Victor. I found out that his sister, he has 3, one of his older sisters, Kendra, went deaf, to everyone's surprise, when she was in 2nd grade, and that he used to, as a child, lay in his bedroom and listen to his older sister weeping with the realization she was going to lose the ability to hear, and how it shaped him as a human being, as a communicator, and as someone who is inspired by her success and her perseverance and her joy today, for her as an adult.
I've heard him talk about that. It's an amazing story. Bill, this was great. Thanks for coming on. Everybody go check out Bill on Twitter. His handle is @SportsWriter, Reiter. Bill, thanks again. You were terrific.
Tom, anytime, man. Thanks for thinking of me.